the state of marine biology in South Africa, the biggest employer of marine biologists in the country is obviously the state, and a number of government departments employ marine biologists, the biggest being Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, DAF, Fisheries branch obviously, and then Department of Environmental Affairs. They employ marine biologists in their Oceans and Coast branch, at SANBI, the South African National Biodiversity Institute, and SANParks, South African National Parks, also employ some marine biologists. Then there are municipalities which employ marine biologists: City of Cape Town, Swellendam, Durban, Eastern Cape. Provincial authorities, so that's things like Cape Nature, employ marine biologists, and even arts and culture with some of the museums, and then Department of Science and Technology employ marine biologists at SION, which is the South African Ecological Observation Network, SIAB, which is the South African Institute of Aquatic Biodiversity down in Grahamstown, and then the CSR, Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. So the government is the biggest employer of marine biologists in the country. The coastal universities are probably the second biggest employer. So that's CPUT, US, UCT, Stellenbosch, University of Zululand, UKZN, Rhodes, Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University down in Port Elizabeth, Walter Sisulu, the old UNITRA, and then Fort Hare. But there are some inland institutions, Pretoria, University of Johannesburg, University of Wits. I mean, there are marine biologists scattered across the country. NGOs are important employers, so that's places like the Oceanographic Research Institute, or ORI in Durban. It's WWF, BirdLife International. And then there are opportunities at some of the aquaria, so that's the Two Oceans Aquarium in Cape Town, Ushaka in Durban, and then Bay World in Port Elizabeth. As far as job opportunities, so those are the employers. Most of the researchers are based at those organizations, and if we total those numbers up, there's probably about 250 nationwide. You can double that number if you throw in the administrators and the managers and the ancillary support staff. And it sounds like a lot of people, but it really isn't. 250 researchers is not a large number given the size of the country, and money is tight. So there are areas of research where there are gaps, and so we're having to fill those gaps in that research area through international collaborations. And there are areas where there is duplication. On the whole, most of the scientists that are in the country are active, they are research active, and they are delivering on their mandate. Obviously, the mandate of a government scientist is different from that of a university scientist, but I think, by and large, it is a healthy marine science community. In terms of jobs, if you are from a historically disadvantaged background, then your chances are fairly good. But it's not going to be plain sailing, because the number of opportunities is limited if you want to be employed by an employer. So those posts are only being created when somebody retires or resigns. There are opportunities, and growing opportunities, in the area of consultancies, in other words, going it out alone or with a colleague. But it's an uncertain career, because you're always chasing the money. You don't know whether you're going to have money coming in next month or whatever, and it's also it becomes a very stressful. So there are jobs, but there aren't huge numbers of jobs, and the competition for the jobs that are available is fairly intense. I&J may employ people with a background in quantitative fisheries management to help make decisions at the top level. They may employ people who are working in gear technology, which is not quite the same. But as a rule, they don't employ research scientists, because the state will say, okay, I&J can have X tens of thousands of tons of sardines and anchovy this year, or whatever it is. So the state is doing all the research. The companies pay a levy, so for every ton of fish that they catch, they are levied a fee to catch that. And that fee should be used by the state to fund research into those resources. But they're not, as a rule, they're not mandated to do the research themselves. The state does that for them. We're a small department. We're only 9 staff altogether, and of those 9 staff in the department, 3 of us are marine scientists. We cover all the bases. So Professor Manafelt is a seaweed taxonomist, and he's also interested in the interactions between seaweeds and those organisms that eat seaweeds. So he's our rocky shore biologist, and he also dabbles in the field of aquaculture. Professor Smith is a recent appointment in the department, and he's an algal ecophysiologist. So he's interested in understanding how seaweeds grow. How does growth rates change as nutrients change or as temperature changes, which is important because with changing global temperatures, that's going to have an impact on how seaweeds grow, and because seaweeds form the basis of so many food chains in the coastal area, it becomes important to understand that. And then I'm the marine animal ecologist. So we cover the bases, and I think we're all research active, and we've all got postgraduate students, so I think we're doing all right. We're doing all right. We don't offer an undergraduate program in marine biology here at UWC. Rather, we offer a basic program in animal and plant biology and ecology. There will be elements of marine biology in some of those undergraduate courses, but there is no undergraduate course in marine biology per se. And the reason we've kept it like that is because we're training people to enter careers other than marine biology. So we're trying to cover all the basics. And if you become a marine biologist, you still need to understand those basics. And after that, marine biology becomes really a specialization. So the first opportunity that students get at UWC to study marine biology is at the honors level. So they've already got 1 degree, and this is now their second degree. And then they do a course they can do a course in marine biology if they want to, and they can conduct a research project in marine biology. And then obviously we offer research degrees at the master's level and at the PhD level for those students that want to carry it further. So there are a number of different exit points that we provide so that your basic degree and your honors degree largely equip you to go into the support arena in marine biology. And obviously the master's and then the PhD, you get progressively more independent in your ability to do research out there in the marketplace. To get into a master's degree at UWC, you would require a good honours pass. You wouldn't need to have it specifically from UWC, but it could be from any of the other universities with a good honours pass. So that's the first thing. Your honours background needs to be in the appropriate subjects. So it must be some form of animal or plant biology. You need to secure a project through a supervisor. So you need to identify the supervisor that you want to work with and approach that supervisor in advance to find out whether that supervisor has got his or her own research funds. Those research funds often come with bursaries. So you need to find out whether there is a source of income attached to a supervisor, which then is given to you for a particular project. There are, however, bursaries out there for students, for good students, that they can make an application for, and once they've got that, they can then go headhunting for supervisors. So it's either a case of trying to identify a supervisor who's got money, who's doing work in an area that you're interested in, or you have to try and secure your own research funds or your own research bursary through the National Research Foundation or whatever, and then approach a supervisor. First of all, you've got to be passionate. You've got to be passionate about biology in the first place. But it's not only biology. In order to get into any undergraduate program, you're going to need mathematics at high school. So you need to get over that hurdle. Competition at the end of the day is going to be fairly intense. So you're going to need to demonstrate why you should be the person that gets in there. So you're going to need to be hardworking and dedicated. You're also going to need to be patient, and you're going to need to be prepared to make compromises along the line. At the outset, you may want to be a marine biologist working on whales and dolphins. But if you're going to try and achieve that goal, it may be necessary for you to work on other things beforehand, because the opportunities in whales and dolphins may not be there at the time that you want them to be there. So you may have to take detours along the way before you reach your eventual goal. But you also need to be realistic. There are no full-time employed researchers in South Africa working in the area of whales and dolphins. So we have people working in whales and dolphins, but they're working on soft money. So you need to be realistic. You really do need to be realistic. It may help you to get some part-time jobs along the way, and to even offer your services free of charge in a voluntary capacity. That might boost your chances of success down the line. And it would also prepare you for later life, because as marine biologists we don't get paid very much. So under those circumstances it becomes a vocation rather than anything else. University of the Western Cape is a very special institution. It's a very understanding institution, and most of our students in the past have come from historically disadvantaged backgrounds. And I think we understand those students perhaps better than do many other institutions. So if you are from a historically disadvantaged background, then I think UWC is a better institution for you to study at than UCT or Stellenbosch. I have no hesitation in saying that at all. You need to be following your goals. So if you want to work on jellyfish, then there is nowhere else to go. I mean, this is the place that you want to come to. If you want to study algal ecophysiology, there is no other place to go to. And likewise, if you're interested in seaweed taxonomy, the best place to do that is here at UWC. So it's a case of following the supervisors and your interests, but also we are a very understanding institution.